Before we get into it, if you enjoyed these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button, and keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as, investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. All right, folks, here we are on Friday, February 28th. We're going to take a look at Rocket today. So Rocket, this is, if you're not remembering or not familiar, this is the fintech company that is based on mortgage, real estate, personal finance business. It's not Rocket Lab, for example. But, it's putting in a nice motion here off of this 10.06 level, and I wanted to kind of unpack it. Now, just to sort of lead with the headline, if it can get motion over the 183 EMA, which we'll look at in a moment, where I would be looking for it to go would be this 1707. To me, that looks like the right level extending off of this 1006. And if we look at the ATR levels here in the Thinkorswim study, we do see these are the March levels, which are what's going to be relevant now. And we see this +1 ATR for March is at 1730, right? So that would even push it through a little bit. Of course, everything here is a little bit of a range, right? 1707. It may not end up being 1707 to the penny. It might be 1730, might be 1702, or something like that. But there's a decent amount of space between these levels, and so take it with a little bit of range. But that's what I'd be looking for at the moment. Now, what it's going to need to be able to do to get there, besides work past this 1440 and 1574, which will likely provide some resistance, is bringing in the EMAs here. And I only got rid of the levels so that it's not so cluttered to look at. But you see what's happening right now. These are the short-term EMAs, 8, 21, 34. That's white, peach, and red. And then this gray 183. Gray 183, I harp on it all the time. It's ultra important. You see here where it lost support. It was getting support in the 183, and then we had bearish crossovers of the EMAs, and it just plummeted, right? And it lost it at around 15, and it fell all the way to 10. Now it's back engaging with it again. So if it can overcome the 183, meaning not just price action above it, but that these short-term EMAs, which are currently in a bullish formation, if they can cross over and cross through the 183 EMA, that's what I'd be looking for. Like you see here. See, bullish formation of the short-term EMAs, and then they all cross over. And what happens? It absolutely takes off, right? So that's the rocket ship that we're looking for. And you see how it held off of that 183, right? Came down and tested it, came within sort of range of it there and moved off again. And then, yeah, when it lost it, it really lost it. So if we can get something here that resembles what you see here, that's where I then start to look, okay, 1707, 1730-ish might be within range. The other thing to keep in mind about the sort of discrepancy, if you want to call it that, between my 1707 here and the 1730 over here is these ATR levels are dynamic. So as additional price action gets put in, these will shift. Whereas these levels, unless the entire setup gets bust, which would happen if it dropped back below 1006. Unless that completely busts, these levels are still valid. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for. So it's a little bit of a sort of flip back and forth, right? On one view, you have EMAs. Okay, do we see the crossovers happening? And some folks feel comfortable getting in now, right? Feel comfortable as these bullish crossovers start to happen. They feel comfortable getting in, but just know it can really hit resistance hard, and it can plummet off of the 183. You see back here is obviously quite a different setup, but it came near, this wick came near the 183, and then it just absolutely shot down. So this can be a pretty tricky spot. It just depends on your risk tolerance. For me, I'm a little more risk averse, and so I'm happy to say, hey, I didn't catch the very bottom, or I didn't catch the perfect reversal point, but I caught a good chunk of the move, and I feel good about my entry. So I'm looking for these to get bullishly crossed over the 183, and then I would sort of get rid of these, at least at the moment, and I would then start to bring in my levels and say, okay, I know that I have 1707 in mind, but what can I look for out of it? 1440 and 1574. That's, if it starts to work through those levels, then I know that I'm kind of on the right track. If it starts to sort of, double top or, put in significant rejections off of those levels, then maybe we're not going to quite make it there. But that would be my take on Rocket at the moment. To me, it looks like, as decent a setup as any that I have seen as it pertains to stocks that have been in a bearish phase, right? This is a recent bearish phase since about November of last year, and is trying to make a bit of a comeback. So will it? I don't know, right? Sometimes these try and fail, but that's why we look at it and we say, okay, here's how we would know it would reject, right? We would know it rejected if it can't get these EMAs through the 183. And sometimes they kind of, lackadaisically move over. You see, this is a nice strong motion, right? As the motion is coming here, these are spreading out. That's what you'd want to see, right? Distance between these means that it's getting real lift and it's really pushing. And then as they start to, come back toward each other, that's when things are kind of starting to condense, consolidate, and that run might be over, right? And maybe you're sort of regrouping for another run. But I was trying to see, like this is a little bit of a lackadaisical crossover, but even then it double bottomed at the 183 and took off. So it does look like it has a pretty good history. Here's one that tried and failed, right? It's very fine setup, and it did a lot of work, right? It came from 850 to 10 in a pretty short period of time, but then it came back down, retested it, and just couldn't hold it, and I had to make another run, and even then it struggled a bit, but then I was able to get some motion. So just know it can fail at that level, but when you see it starting to fail, then you know that, okay, maybe I need to decide what to do here, regroup, maybe get out, maybe dollar cost average down, whatever. But yeah, to me, this looks like as good of a setup as any at the moment for bearish stock trying to throw in potential reversal. All right, folks, so I hope that you've had a nice trading week. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.